Welcome, everyone. This is Shenee and I am the hostess of Shenee Shares Live. I just wanted to let you all know that, hey, we gotta love technology. We really do. It has its pros and its cons. However, it's still giving us the ability to reach so many people, to inspire them, to enlighten them with information, etc., etc. So sometimes we have that moment like, man, technology, but I always look at the bright side of everything. So we're going to try again. I do want you to know that you are tuned in to Shenee Shares Live. If you did not know, again, I am Shenee Woodson, and I'm your hostess for Shenee Shares Live. Tonight, unfortunately, due to unforeseen circumstances, our guests, Rachel Wilson and Sarah Grace, will be unable to join us. Please, 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 those of you who are prayer warriors, keep them in prayer. Even if you're not a prayer warrior, pray. All right. So many people are going through something right now, whether it's illness and personal matters. We just want to make sure that we keep each other lifted up. However, I still want to continue with the live. So what I'm going to do is actually show you all a clip and then a replay of our very first episode, unless you want to just sit back and watch and then tune in. I know a lot of you, the game is coming on. I'm not oblivious to anything, but yeah, just tune in. And when you are free to come back and join us, please do so. In the meantime, stay blessed, stay safe, and be resilient. Remember, resiliency is what is key. Thank you very much. Honestly, I was listening to, we all know Real Talk Kim, and I was sitting there listening to her one night, and what she said rung so clear. She was talking about her situation with her divorce and everything. And she said one day she was crying and crying, saying, Lord, I just want to move on. Just want to move on. And she said she clearly heard God say, just give it to me. Just give it to me. She said she jumped in the shower and she cried for like a long time. Wow. And I don't want to quote because I don't remember exactly the timing. But she said, and after that, she got out the shower when she was free. Do you know I copied off of her? I went there. I got so Kim, how are you? Yes, I copied off of you after you shared your live on Facebook.
got in the shower and just sat there, cried and cried and cried. But guess what? When I got out, I still felt a little pain. I said, okay, well, it didn't work.
Yeah,
It worked for
that
her.
was your blessing.
That wasn't my.
Yes.
I guess that wasn't the way God wanted me to go through the process. And we have to understand that too. And I want to share this real quick. Sometimes the way people's journey isn't the same as ours.
Yeah.
He wants us to heal in other ways. There's maybe some other issues that we need to deal with. So even though we had similar issues as far as divorce, that wasn't my, even though I wanted to copy off of her and say, oh, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna jump in the shower and just cry out. I got out.
Trying to get to it, get to it quickly.
I was like, I got out of the shower, like, I'm still angry.
Yeah.
I'm still upset. I'm still trying to figure out things. But what really was a turning point is I used my gift. And this actually happened recently. I wish I had had it been like literally Kiana maybe 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
And I sent the email, a very long email, because I love to write. So why not use the gift that God gave me to release what I needed? That shower thing wasn't for me.
Like all you did was get clean.
Yeah, I got really clean. I smelled good and I slept good that night, but I woke up still feeling angry. I literally typed, because I ain't right, typed up a long email and just
released it all.
And when I got done, a couple of tears fell down. I said, okay. And do you know that next day?
I am Corey Taylor. You just honored and delighted to be here today to have this opportunity to interview such a mover and a shaker and an earth rattler and an earth shaker. And man, it is exciting. And we're going to be here to talk about resiliency. But right now, I want you to like and share on all social media platforms to recognize that this is live. This is live. We're going to have people writing in to have their comments read out loud. We're not going to get all of them, but we're going to try to get some of them. So please like and share. I want to say something to you that I know that may be a little different now, because this is so awesome, because I get to interview Shenee. This show is Shenee Shares, and none other than Shenee Woodson is who I'm going to be interviewing. If you don't know her, you're going to get to know her. This show is about resiliency. It's about overcoming obstacles and being able to bounce back. No matter how much life throw at you, you will always be able to bounce back. And we have the perfect person that's going to be sharing tonight, and we're going to be interviewing her and talking about amazing stuff. So again, like, share, tell your mothers, tell your brothers, tell your father, tell your aunties, tell your uncle, get here tonight, because you're going to hear some amazing stuff, and it is going down. One of the things I want to share with you about resiliency is that not too long ago in February, I was in a car accident. And I'm only sharing this because Shenee was like, you should share that. And I'm like, yeah, I will. I was in a car accident. I had a concussion, had some neck injuries. And I will tell you what, I never understood what it was like for people that dealt with brain injuries. And I never knew how hard it was for people when they dealt with brain injuries. But when I had that concussion, not even knowing it was a brain injury, I know that I went through so many different emotions. I was crying all the time. Sometimes I was sad for no reason. I would get angry for no reason. And I had to go to therapy as a result of all of this. And also start having bad blood between me and my business partner because of the injury. Let me tell you something. When you are around people that have sustained some type of catastrophic injury, it is important that you give them all the love and the support that they need at that moment. They may have been tough in life. They may have always been the one who held it down for everybody else. But you have to understand that when people go through trauma or injuries like I went through, it gets very difficult. So they need your love and respect. And as a result today of my family stepping in, loving and helping me and respecting me and really helping me get to another level, I was able to bounce back. And I'm making a recovery, not totally a full recovery, because I deal with some post-concussion syndrome type symptoms. But I'm here, alive and well. I bless the name of the Lord, and it's all good. So without further ado, I want to introduce you to my sis, none other than Shenee Woodson, the founder of Shenee Shares. Hello, Shenee. How are you?
Hey, big brother, how are you? How are
I'm
you?
doing well. I'm glad you can join us. I am super excited to be here today. This is your first inaugural episode of Shenee Shares. So, how are you feeling today?
I am well, a little nervous. I think I blew my nose like 15 times already. I
Oh my gosh,
tripped in
there
the
you go with
virtual
the nose board.
backstage, and so
Well,
much has transpired.
man, so I'm so glad to have this opportunity to interview you today. I just want people to know from here on out, she's going to be interviewing everyone, but I am just so blessed to have this opportunity to be able to talk to you and going to unpack some amazing things. So, hey, what you been up to though?
Up. I just been up. From just getting things together for Shenee Shares has been a journey. I'm excited because also I finally have a publicist who I've been trying to get
Wow.
with for like 2 years now. We've worked together in the past when I was with under another publishing company, and it's just phenomenal. I have been having my woes. We'll talk about that later. However, I just want to focus on the positive things right now. My daughter, she's growing. I would say that.
Awesome.
She'll be 13 years old in 2 weeks. So I have 18. I'm a mommy of a teenager soon. So I'm excited about that. It's been a journey even in that portion. And for those who don't know, I am straight Baltimore. Okay, I'm from Baltimore, but now I'm residing in Woodbridge, Virginia. So that has
So,
been a huge shift for me.
so how tall is she now? Because you're tall, pretty tall. How tall is she?
She's at 5'5" now, and I'm
Oh,
5'9". So yeah, she's catching up with me. Last time we went to the doctors a few weeks ago, 5'5". So I said, "Whoa!"
wow.
And she said, "Mommy, I'm almost up there with you." I said, "Really?" Okay.
You know what's so funny is that my son, because he played football, he said he hoped he was going to get my height. I said, son, don't even think about it. I'm 6'2" and 3/4. Give me my 3/4 people. I'm 6'2" and 3/4. And my son, as he was younger, I said, son, you're probably not gonna be 6 foot. Your mom's 5'3". Unless if she was 5'5", he would get 6 feet. But if he's not, so let's hope that she gets to be as tall as she want to be, and she's happy about it, right? But a lot of females don't like to be that tall, though. But let's hope she do. So, with that being said, listen, I got a question I want to ask you, and I've
Get
been
myself
always wanting to
together.
ask you this question. You started his favorite magazine a long time ago. And I've always said to you, if there is anybody on this planet that has the resiliency and they can get after getting things done, it has always been you. And so
Wow.
tell me a little bit about, because when we connected literally a decade ago now, I was like, man, this is wonderful. And and you created a whole magazine and you were doing promotions and you were just doing it all. And so I want to know what made you start his favorite magazine, but don't stay there long because I want to then know what got you to now saying you finna go live with Shenee Shares.
His favorite magazine actually wasn't originally his favorite magazine. I have to give credit where credit is due. My ex-husband, actually, Troy Edwards, founder of 3HP Marketing Promotions. He wanted to do a magazine, Mr. Indie Mogul, and he started Indie Mogul magazine.
Right.
From there, of course, me being the co-founder of that, it was supposed to be for indie artists and everything at first. And then next thing I know, we wasn't just doing indie artists. It started, think our first interview was Vicky Yohe and then some other people, Jacqueline Carr, and it was a lot. And I said, wait a minute, I feel like the name needs to change. And I
Right.
clearly heard change the name. And I went to my content editor at the time. I said, we have to change the name. I said, because God has been showing so much favor in the process of doing Indie Mogul. And I said, that's it. His favor. It just
That's
came out
it.
like that. And next thing I know, I talked to him about it, a little kickback, but he saw the transformation in the first issue. Within the first issue, we had a full lineup of like celebrity artists. The next issue was the banger. I had Joyce Meyer was on the cover of the second issue, and it went from there. And I said, oh my goodness, just from being obedient in that moment, I just learned a huge lesson of, even though, I wanted to, stick with the original plan, but I knew what I heard. And I'm glad
You
I
know what?
listened to that voice.
Now let me interrupt you there because not only did his favor go on to have celebrities and gospel recording artists and famous preachers. Why the spiritual influence? Because I'm hearing that when you all were doing the Indie Mogul magazine, it seemed like all of a sudden spiritual, inspirational people started being drawn to you to be part of this magazine experience. So how did that get infused into the magazine?
Because I actually had a dream to make sure, and it was basically the dream was telling me, and it was interpreted and confirmed that I had to be true to still who I was as a believer, regardless. Even if I interviewed people who weren't quote unquote Christians, I still even asked questions in regards to their faith. Ask questions in regards to how they grew up, because a lot of secular artists, they probably grew up in church. They had praying grandmamas and mamas, granddaddies, all that stuff. So I still took it back to where, my roots and my beliefs. And I believe since I was doing that, that's what people was drawn to. Like, she's still keeping being true to herself, even though sometimes she's stepping on secular territory. Like there were times where I was interviewing people who thought like, there's no way they have a Christian background. Then after the interview, like, oh wow, they grew up in church, and next thing you know, they know that this is where they are. And again, it's about choices too. But I think that's where the the attraction was. Like, wait a minute, she's supposed to be a Christian magazine, but she got Michael B. Jordan on the cover. Wait a minute, time out. She got Vanessa Bell Calloway. Wait, that's something's not adding up. And I think that's what was drawn to me.
And I mean, you were dealing with people that were connected to the TV show Empire. Uh, you have Michael B. Jordan. You have Vanessa. Is it Vanessa Bell Calloway, or is it Armstrong
Yes.
that was in?
But Vanessa Bell Calloway, for those who don't remember, she's popular from Coming to America when he told her to bark.
Exactly. Whatever you like.
Yes, whatever you like.
But so I was so impressed, and then you even started having like international filmmakers from different countries that were telling stories about Christian films and things of that nature.
Yeah.
So with that being said, you went through having a magazine. We're gonna get to this later. Then stuff started happening to you, but then now it's Shenee Shares. Now, what made you jump from print to now online television and things like this?
Actually, Shenee Shares was a hashtag that I used to do a long time ago. I used to share things that was going on in my world, and I would always hashtag Shenee Shares. And then next thing I know, I started saying, "Oh, let's turn Shenee Shares into a blog." And all this was still going on while I had his favor. So at times when I would do the newsletter, I would put like Shenee Shares and put like something in my heart or something that I wanted to share, or something I was dealing with, being transparent. And it always kept saying Shenee Shares, Shenee Shares. So next thing I know, I was sitting there one day, I was with a friend, and we were talking like, well, we just turn Shenee Shares into like a business, since you want to speak, since you wanted to be a platform where, you can share your resources with people. Cause I'm also known as a connector as well. There's a lot of people out there who are doing business together, and I'm not tooting my own horn, but because of the connection that was made, through me. Okay. So that came about. So, you're sharing your resource, you're sharing your life, you're just sharing, sharing, sharing. So instead of saying, let's turn this into a business and go from there. So we actually did the Shenee Shares launch. And in the midst of that, things started happening. I actually ended up with two people who were under me as, coaching. And like we'll talk about the rest of the stuff as it transpired. But I even had to let that go. So me doing this is more like I've always loved to talk. Everybody know I love to talk. I love to share. So I said, instead of me doing a magazine and, having to deal with, and not saying I don't miss it, but having to deal with graphic artists and contributing writers, all the things, I've always started off the interviews anyway, having a conversation. All the interviews I had, I still have a lot of interviews that are still recorded. I can actually put up, but it was always, a conversation. And I remember one time I was interviewing Tamala Mann, and when I got off, her publicist contacted me and said, "Can I be honest with you? You need to go live." She said that was interview was powerful. She said, because and if you go on YouTube, you can see it's an interview with myself, Tamala Mann, and Stephanie, who was the fashion editor at the time. And that gave the whole idea to say, okay, let's just go ahead and do this live. I love talking, and I love the experience of going live and just getting the feedback and reaction. It's a little different than seeing it on print. So I
Yeah.
decided to go this way.
but you've been a little modest because not only were you doing you did his favor, then it branched out to his favorite teams. Then it was going to be the Hispanic version of his favor. Then it was his favor for men. Hey, and not only that, but didn't you win an award or something for his favorite magazine as well?
Yes, I did. I was actually nominated twice. I feel so bad. I can't think of it, but I did win an award.
But I remember.
You remember? I'm sitting here like, what was that? And can I say something in regards to that? I think with me, I try to stay humble, so people, the fact that I don't acknowledge all that all the time. I don't know if it's me not toot my own horn or growing up feeling like if I said it and make me feel haughty or anything like that. So I'm learning to embrace those things, but I don't talk about it that much. Like I've won a lot of awards. I've been on different platforms and things, but I don't share it all the time. But now is the time to share. I feel like people need to know. But yeah, I'll have to look that up because I can't remember what awards, and I feel bad because I can't remember.
You don't have to feel bad because, like people say, sometimes you don't need to toot your own horn. But I'm here. I'll toot it, toot, because you have done some amazing things, and not only that, but not only have you done amazing things, because I want to get back to this resiliency that you have. I know that people don't understand this. When you create something like a magazine or a TV show, they don't know a lot of times, Shenee, that's literally a bootstrapping experience. You don't have big financial backers coming to rescue you or to give you money or things of that nature. So you have to do the best you can with what you have. And so I don't want to go really, really long on how did you pay for his favorite magazine, because we're in Shenee Shares, but what was the challenges like when it came to keeping that machine of that magazine afloat?
Very challenging. That's why I still kept my job. I'm a professional development trainer for the Department of Human Services in the state of Maryland. Shout out to DHS. But yeah, I still had to keep my job and make sure that, the time for me to be at work, I kept focused on that. And time for me to do his favor, that because I didn't want to mix the two. And I felt like, having integrity in that will also help that. Because I was like, let my full-time job fund the things that I need to do. There were people I had contributing writers who would contribute, funds here and there as well. Doing ad specials or ad spaces would help as well. But a lot of times there were moments where, no one wanted to have an ad space. I'm like, what's going on? I got, big time Ricky, this person on the cover. No one wants an ad. So, and just piggyback off of that and just trying to figure out, what worked and what didn't work and what to put my money, towards and what not to put my money towards. And I've lost a lot of money in certain things. I did a big event one time, poured everything into it. And I woke up like, wait a minute, my rent. Oh my gosh, my car. Because I was so fucked. I was like, what happened? And next thing you know, I'm getting a letter saying, hey, we might come get your car, or you probably get evicted. So all that had to come into play. I mean, things worked out, but at the same time, it was a lot of strain and a lot of lessons learned on now, what to do and what to put my money towards and how to get that.
I want to piggyback on that, because not only did I know the times when you were going through times of, and for those who are out here watching, they need to understand that a lot of people are out there talking about what it takes to be an entrepreneur, to start magazines, to start TV shows, to be content creators, or whatever the case may be. That those endeavors in and of themselves do not go without that taking a toll on us as human beings or our bodies at times. And so I remember the stress and the agony of, am I going to keep the magazine going? I'm going to shut it down. You would call Big Brother, say, that's it, I'm done. And then I got a call from you one day and you said, I'm going to get off the internet, big bro. I'm dealing with a lot of stuff. It's very, very personal. And I said, what are you dealing with? And then, because you went dark, you went off the internet for a long time. And I couldn't even find you. You weren't answering phone calls. You weren't doing nothing. And then when I finally came back to talking to you, you had shared with me that you were going through some life-changing situations in your body. So with that being said, I'm hoping I'm getting this right. I'm just going to say the initials. You can explain to me what those things are, but you were dealing with IIH, and then you were also dealing with PC. Is it OS?
Yes,
What
sir.
are those things? Because you tried to explain it to me, and I still to this day don't understand what it is, but I knew that it was life changing when it happened. And I can only imagine while you were going through all of this stuff, unbeknownst to other people, and people still pushing, saying, keep the magazine going, keep the magazine going. And sometimes they were thinking it was a crisis of faith, but not knowing that you were actually dealing with not only a crisis of faith, but you were dealing with some questions inside internally, medical wise. God, what's going on and why? So share with us, what are those two things you were dealing with?
The two chronic illnesses, one is IH, and it is idiopathic intracranial hypertension. Basically, my body thinks I have a tumor. It's a fake
Wow.
tumor. It's also called a pseudo-tumor cerebri. I wish Dr. Barnes can jump on real quick. I always say it wrong, but she has it too. Shout out to Dr. Barnes. Y'all saw her in the beginning. But that's my IH sister, warrior. But and it's basically my body feels thinks I have a tumor, so it's reacting as if I have a brain tumor, which I really don't. What it is just fluid building up. I can go blind, and I'm giving you the short version because I'm looking at the time. But I can go blind. Migraines. Now I'm telling you, the migraines aren't your normal one. They're bad. Okay. You don't even want to get up out of bed. You don't want to move. Somebody turn a light on, you ready to cuss them out. Like it's really bad. Vomiting, sometimes including plus with the PCOS with this polycystic ovarian syndrome. I have that on top of well. And I know Kiki Palmer right now is really big, the face of it right now. So I have what she has. And with that, that's dealing with, ovarian cysts and hair growth. Women, we don't want hair growing in different parts. You're getting a beard and a mustache and all that stuff. You got to shave all the time. Menstrual period may not come on at all. You may have a heavy flow. So it's so much stuff. Okay. And you mentioned two things together, dealing with all that, and I was just like, it was just overwhelming. And then a part of me was like, have all this wonderful stuff going on, but you ask the question, why me? Why me? And now is a whole different. I'm looking at it differently because I think about, and I shared this on another interview I did a long time ago, and I think about the moment when Jesus healed the blind man. He said he was blind for this moment, to give God glory. And I have to put myself in that those type of shoes, like, because I'm not healed yet.
Right.
I have to take it as is. This is for God's glory. This is so I can show people, regardless of what's going on in my body, regardless of how I feel, I'm still going to press. If I have that moment when I want to, go off, I'm going to keep moving. And I needed to have that moment of just silence and just get myself together. Because I had a prophet one day tell me, he said, you have so many voices around you, you can't get yourself together. You can't get yourself together because all these voices are around you, telling you what to do, telling you to go this way, go that way. You're listening. That's the problem. So I had to shut the voices down and really tune in to, okay, God, now what? What I'm gonna do? And sometimes the voices are there too, and sometimes it's voices from my past, but it's learning how to shut those things down and totally focus on what I need to do and go back to say, okay, God, you haven't healed me yet. So what I'm gonna do in the process, what I'm gonna do while I'm going through this. And here we are.
Wow. So let me ask you a question. Why the need to share your story at this moment?
At this moment, because I feel it's time. I've seen so many people and heard so many people that are going through things that don't share. Actually, I was on my Facebook page yesterday and I was talking about how I went to my sister's high school reunion and she celebrated 50-year reunion, at her high school. And I saw my sister who has multiple sclerosis, if you know about
Mm,
that, she has MS. And to see her dancing without her walker, to see her
right.
smiling, having a good time, that gave me a lot of joy. They gave me
Wait
so
a minute.
much
Wait a
joy.
minute.
I didn't even think about all the stuff I was going
Wait a minute. Stop. You mean the sister that I met
through.
when I was there?
I have an older sister. Yeah, I have an
Oh,
older
I was gonna say
sister as
your
well.
sister
And I
that
think
I
I'm
met when I
last.
was there. I was gonna say she is dealing with all of this because I know it's been years since I've been able to get there and see everyone, your mom and
Mhm.
your pops and your sister. But well, I was gonna say, whoa, I didn't even know that much was going on. So you coming out to share this story now. Um, I know it's going to encourage people and impact people's lives because what we don't oftentimes think about is that we see people do the things that you've done, created a magazine, not only created one magazine, but did more magazines. Not only that, but at the same time, you're a personal development coach and you're doing training for a large institution where you live. And I can understand how that will all be challenging. And then you said something that was really thought provoking that you hear people say all the time. They say, "Why God? Why me?" So for me, when you were asking those questions to God, why you, did you ever get the answer you were looking for? I know you said it was for his, maybe for his glory, but was that a satisfying answer to you at first?
Can I be honest how satisfying it was? I tattooed it on my shoulder. It
Real,
says for
for
such a
real?
time for such a time as this. That's what it says on
Wow.
my shoulder.
And that comes
That's
from the
how it
story, and that comes from the
was
story with
accurate.
Esther. That comes from
Yes.
Esther's story for such a time as this. Well, I'm so
Mhm.
glad that you're telling your story right now for such a time as this. Do you regret stopping the magazine?
No, I don't. I know
And
some
why
people
is
say,
that?
"Oh, you crazy. You should be you got to meet so many celebrities and all those things." But in that I realized, yeah, I got to meet so many celebrities, but in the meantime, that wasn't I still had other issues going on. I had a lot going on. I was in a 2 bedroom, one bath, and I just paid my car off. I will toot my horn about
Wow.
that. I paid my car off in that. But, you know, I don't regret it. I take it as an experience, and now I'm more comfortable when I'm in different situations, and I'm more comfortable talking to people. It helped me to say, okay, just because this person's up here, I can still have a conversation. I don't have to feel intimidated. I can talk to anybody now. It's nothing
Wow.
to me. I take it as an experience, and I take it as people who are coming up behind me and say, hey, I want to start a magazine. Well, let me tell you what not to do so you don't make those same mistakes. So I look at it at a different perspective. That's why I love, when people come to me, hey, can I pick your brain about, this or that? I love it because I'm like, wow, they want to come to me to pick my brain about, a magazine or what to do and how to start a magazine and stuff because of experience. And even though I haven't done it as long as maybe some other people who are still doing it 10, 15, I know people that's been doing it for 10, 15 years, but to see all the stuff that I was able to accomplish in 2 years and people still
Impact.
want to come to me, yes.
The
Um,
impact was powerful. And that
thank you.
impact still, even in my family, that impact still resonates to this day. And yes, you are connected because you connected me with the twins who I started working with.
Mhm.
You have been doing that. I want to encourage our viewers, please put a comment down. We'll get to your comments. And Shenee will be able to answer any questions you have, hopefully. But I want to say this other thing to you, Shenee, while we're here. When you've been dealing with all of this, what makes you keep going? Because you could have gave up after finances got tough with his favorite magazine. You could have stopped, but I know you didn't. You could have gave up when you had all of the health issues and what people don't understand because we don't have enough time to tell this, but you still tried to come back and even do the magazine and tried to have people come and help get it out there even more. But now you're doing Shenee shares and you're back. What is it that keeps driving you to keep coming, bouncing back and keep coming back?
The fact that I remember what was told to me when I was 14. I had a reminder of what was told to me when I was 14. And it said, I'm going to go through so much, especially as a woman, and almost everything that a woman goes through. And I can literally say, I think I have. um, but it's going to be to help other women and also to be able to relate. So when they having a conversation, I can say, you know what, I've been there, I've done that, or I've experienced this. This is how I overcame, or this is how I was able to, these are the steps that I took to get past that. So I took that to heart because one day it was reminded to me because I'm sitting here like oh, I remember when Pastor such and such said this to me at 14 years old and said, this is your ministry. And it's gonna be painful, it's gonna be hurtful, but it's, in the end, you're gonna see why. And I'm 43 years old and I finally see why. Like I said, I was always like, why is this happening now? Man, I'm going through this too. Good gracious. And now that I look back from childhood to now, I'm like, I think I have been through almost everything. Every time somebody comes to me, I'm like, dang, I've been there. I've done that. I've experienced that. So that's why I keep pushing, because I'm reminded of my why. I'm reminded of my why. And I think if I lose that, I think I'm gonna lose focus. So even when I have lost focus, or I say, Shenee, get back to your why. Get back to your why. So that helps me to. We appreciate you tuning in to Shenee Shares Live. Let's see who will join us next week. So bad seeing her being put in isolation. Psychology degree. She just kept screaming. Life coaching license. There's nothing I could do to train her, and I teach managing stress. But here it is. I am just in a place of intimate than I could ever imagine. I don't think I can't shake it. Just can't. There's no future. So that I don't want to. What is going on with me? I just cannot seem to live the food we used to make me hate as well. It's too right. Yeah. With the feeling of jeez. How does that make me insecure? Wow, you all just saw the replay of the very first episode of Shenee Shares. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being patient with the technology issues. Again, please stay safe out there. I know many areas are experiencing some crazy weather. I even just got informed that my daughter doesn't have school tomorrow. She's in here tickled pink. But it's a free day for her, okay? But again, please just be safe out there and continue to support others, okay? I'm not going to sit here and say support me. Continue to support others. There are so many people out here who need your support. They're trying to spread the gospel. They're sharing people's journeys of resilience. They're sharing their ministries. They're doing so many different things, and there's so many different platforms that we can support out there. I'm not a type person that says, hey, support me, support me. I want you to as well. But again, this platform is why I started Shenee Shares, is so I can be in a position to support other people, as you just saw. Again, thank you for tuning in. We will have Rachel Wilson and Sarah Grace at a later date. Please keep them in prayer. And next week, you will be excited, I'm telling you, of the next two guests that we have on the 22nd of January. I'm going to show a few more people that's joined us. Tanya, blessings. Yes, my former HRDT co-worker. Shout out to the Department of Human Services. She's not there anymore, but I am glad to have her on with me. Yes, please. I want you all to be safe. Without further ado, I'm just going to leave it at that. And I want to remind you all that, you know what I'm about to say, resiliency is key. Resiliency is key. Until next time, I am Shenee Woodson of Shenee Shares Live.